There is a pressing need to professionally develop our next generation. Leadership supply hasn't kept up with demand. We need to invest in individuals who will be ready to fill mission-critical roles and lead our organizations. Next Gen Leaders is a collaborative community of seasoned consultants focusing on building an integrated approach to learning and development. We're delighted to introduce you to one such member of our team.
Hello, I'm Bob McCullough. I'm a member of Next Gen Leaders community, and I'm here with the creator of Next Gen Leaders, Alan Hirsh. And we're going to talk about action learning. And Alan has been using that with his clients for over 30 years. So tell me, Alan, from your perspective, what is action learning all about?
So action learning, in a nutshell, is learning by doing. Knowledge and education are a terrific base. Action learning is really putting it into practice and finding experiences for people to develop on the job. So the best action learning experiences are where the business agenda gets advanced as well as the individual leadership development agenda.
So is it focused on the individual, or would you see it being focused on a group as well?
Yeah, both, really. Great action learning starts with the individual getting clear about where they need to raise their game. So what are the opportunities for their own growth? It might be learning how to leverage a strength more, it might be building a relationship, it might be developing particular technical or interpersonal skills, or learning how to manage a particular weakness. So it starts by having clarity about what the individual wants to do and then matching that with business opportunities for how the business can advance. And typically you move into team kind of environments. So the person is either a part of a project team or leading a project team, or there are other group experiences to help drive the learning as well as the business goal.
What would you say are the critical ingredients to ensure that action learning really works and really pays off?
So a few things. First of all, get really clear about your action learning strategy. Understand how it fits into the business agenda and what you're trying to do from an overall leadership development point of view. The second is having really great sponsorship and making sure that the work itself, the action learning work itself, is meaningful and useful work. A CEO said, giving his people a license to speed. I love that expression. Really working with the next gen leaders and the high potential people in his organization and saying, I'm giving you an out of jail card. I want you to achieve extraordinary results. I want you to really drive innovation and help us with execution. And so without going over to the dark side of the forest, without doing anything illegal, but really giving them the freedom, empowering them to execute well. So great sponsorship and meaningful. The work itself is meaningful. Third, keep it realistic. Coaches work with people to set SMART goals and focus goals. The key is not to have too many of them. You might be working on one or two development goals, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be a long list. So keep it realistic, keep it achievable. And the fourth point I would say is leave some room for error. Leave some room for experimentation. It doesn't have to be so tight that everything has to be perfect. A lot of learning can happen through making mistakes, and so being able to have enough room for mistakes.
So when you pull together project teams, does it have to be on a real-world situation that they're trying to solve?
Not always. Those are certainly useful. There are other forms of action learning that are less risky. For example, we're working with a client right now, a major retailer, and creating a game simulation that will simulate a year in the life of store managers. And in this one-day action learning simulated experience, they'll face the kinds of decisions and problems and issues that they would typically experience in a year. So very intensive, very practical, lots of fun. So very different than the typical classroom lecture approach to training that we often think about.
I'm just curious, to what extent do you think coaching can support that?
A really important role, and particularly action-oriented coaching that can help the individual stay focused on their learning objectives and can also help them reflect on the experience that they're having, either leading a project team or being part of a project team. Coaching is terrific, whether it's done individually or whether it's done as a group. It allows some deliberate space for the non-business agenda parts. It's focused more on how we're working together as a team, what we're learning. So very important topics, but it's not the content of what the project is working on typically. Coach isn't there as an expert on their project problem or topic. They're there more to help with the learning, with the group dynamics. And that's an important role. So
we've gone through a real field here of action learning. Any closing comments that you have, Alan?
Yeah, just I'm very excited by it because it brings together the business strategy and the learning agenda, and a terrific way to make learning interesting, fun, practical, useful, relevant. So we use it a lot in Next Gen Leaders, and we're keen to talk with you.